What is up, everybody? Today I'll be going over 5 mental models that I've actually discovered to see my life through a millionaire's eyes, and I've studied from many millionaires in the past. So you might be wondering, who's this guy with the baby face who's claiming he could teach me to see mental models like a billionaire or a millionaire? And this is because I've actually built a 40K a month SMA, so it's a service business, and I'm not claiming to be a millionaire yet, but I've studied dozens of books on millionaires and billionaires, and some of my biggest mentors are already there, so I've taken the biggest lessons from them. So yeah, I'll be giving all the top lessons I've discovered from them. So let's get into this video. So the first one is, there's an equation which I actually found from Ray Dalio. So what this is it goes pain plus reflection equals progress. So what does this even mean? But first of all, let's actually define these things. So what is pain? We all know going to a stove and touching a hot stove is painful, but what is pain in business and how can it be defined and described? So pain in business is sitting down and doing the things you absolutely hate to do. So things that are actually the needle movers, and most of the time with these needle movers, they are extremely painful and they suck to do. So when you're starting a service business, one of the highest ROI things to do is actually do that outreach and reaching out to people one-on-one, one to group, running these ads. But this takes a lot of time to do all of this through your day. You're taking 2-3 hours every single day to reach out to people and hopefully have them jump on a call with you. But this is all uncertain, and it's not promised that these people are going to hop on a call with you when you reach out to these people. So pain is doing that for hours on end with no defined outcome. You have no idea what the outcome is going to be when you're actually reaching out to these people. You could do 4 hours of cold calls one day and you could be making no money or getting no sales calls or getting no appointments, right? So it's highly uncertain. So pain is actually doing these actions that are going to lead to these outcomes in business that are actually going to pay off. So you don't know they're going to pay off, but they're going to pay off, right? So that's pain. It's doing stuff you really don't want to do. So, and what is reflection? This one's very straightforward. So it's the painful activities that then you reflect on the painful activities, and then you realize how to get better. So you realize after 1,000 cold calls that this one sentence is doing better than the other sentence, right? And then once you discover that new sentence and that one objection handle or that one response, you then get progress. Because then after a few hundred cold calls, after a few thousand cold calls, you now have the winning formula. You then have the thing that people like the most and love for you to say. So this is the equation. So you're going through stuff that you really just don't want to do, like you absolutely hate. Then next thing is you listen to yourself and doing the thing you're doing, examining the email responses you're getting, seeing how your ads are running, you reflect on it, you do some deep research on what the hell they're saying, and then next you get progress. So this equation comes with absolutely anything in business, because it's this equation that's going to actually get you in a feedback loop, which is going to accelerate you to the next level. So you can think of feedback loops like this, right? In feedback loops, there's always an input and output, and then it's you changing the feedback and changing the input for the feedback loop by the reflection of the output that's going to get you the result, right? So think of it like this. You can either have a feedback loop that goes like this, right? So this is a positive feedback loop because we're going up, because this is the input. Let's say right here we're doing the input, we're getting the results. And then this is right here when we're changing and discovering new outreach scripts or going through things that don't work. And then you find a new one. And this is the new one, because then you have the new evidence of this feedback loop actually working. And you find a new one, and then you get a new feedback loop, and then you get another one, right? So as another example, this would be one that you're not improving whatsoever. You're not improving whatsoever. You're just going straight down, and that's the end of the day. So we want to have a feedback loop that's consistently improving, and very simple. You're always iterating, and you're going through the pain, you're creating the new script, you're getting the reflection. Maybe the reflection doesn't work, but then you find a better reflection and it goes up and then it goes down, and you have this endless feedback loop. So next mental model is, I want you to see absolutely everything through a evolutionary perspective. So let me elaborate on this. So let's say this is you. This is just you by yourself. And this is a group of people. So this is my amazing drawings right here, but this is a group of people on a larger time scale, right? So what do you think evolution and our biology is going to favor, right? So we have evolved obviously over millions and millions of years to adapt to our surroundings, right? So we've obviously been able to be and become the elite species of the world. And this is because evolution favors the whole and not the individual, right? So I see this differently than most people. I don't see many people thinking of it this way, but I always think when you are helping everybody en masse, and absolutely everybody, so many people could be watching this YouTube video right now, but if I sent this YouTube video to one individual versus posting on YouTube with all of you seeing this, what am I going to do better in? What leverage do I have with one person versus the group? So you have to realize evolution in reality does not care about you. It doesn't care about you whatsoever. You are a microscopic percentage of the whole world. Like you are almost irrelevant in this case, but you still can have an impact because evolution favors the whole. So this comes back to providing value, right? So if we're providing value with the service to one person, versus using a platform like YouTube that reaches maximum, like so many people, just by our biology, we are going to do better because we're providing value to so many people. So the way we work by nature is the more value we can provide to as many people as possible, that's what the world is going to favor. We all have the same biology. We all have the same inner workings and honestly design. So if we're all seeing the world through this way, everybody's going to favor the person who provides value to this many people versus one. So this is just a key lesson in business where the more value you provide to the more amount of people, the better you're going to do. Think of Alex Ramosi. He has a audience of 2.3 million people, I think subscribers now, that's what he has. And he's providing so much value to them on a daily basis that he is blowing up, absolutely blowing up. Why is this? If he was making these videos for one person, what is he going to do? Not as much. Not as much at all. So in every scenario, we find that evolution is always favoring the whole instead of the individual. And this is because we're optimizing for the whole, right? We want to make it, evolution has made things pleasurable to affect the whole more so than individual. And evolution has blended these in a way that's unbelievable. Think about reproducing for a second. Evolution is favoring the whole by reproducing, but then it tailors to the individual by giving us pleasure by reproducing, obviously, right? So we are creating a new species, but at the same time, we're having pleasureful experience when we are creating new people on the planet, right? Think of evolution this way. It's doing the exact same thing, but we are optimizing for the whole instead of just us, right? We are a microscopic component of the world, and we need to affect as many people as possible in the greatest way, or affect a small amount of people, but change their lives. And then that's how we provide value. That's how we succeed. So just another mental model there. Next one is, I'm actually not going to use a white light for this one, but I want you to see everything through an outlier's perspective. And when I mean outlier, I don't mean like a criminal who's committing crimes. I don't mean a person who is, let's say, doesn't have a home or obviously things like this. I want you to see a successful outlier's perspective. I want you to see everything through a success outlier perspective. Obviously, this is what we want to achieve if you're watching my videos. So I want you to abandon the crowd. I want you to completely abandon the crowd and then realize that you are on a completely different path in entrepreneurship than all of these people that you are being surrounded by on a day-to-day basis. And this is unfortunate to hear because we obviously want to get along with everybody in our area and our family and all these things. And these people have great intentions, but the problem with that is that all these people do not, most of them, do not want to live the life that we want to live. So what I'm getting on to in this point is that you need to take in alternative information and pursue people who have achieved the things that you already want to achieve, right? So you want to actually judge people by their actions and not what they say. So you could watch my videos all you want, But if you didn't believe that I had a successful business and actually did it, you wouldn't be listening to me. All the credibility comes in achieving a successful business, right? I have proved that I've achieved a successful business, 40K a month SMA, like I actually mentioned, because you can watch dozens of YouTube videos I've created on SMA showing everything I do, like absolutely everything I do, and you're more welcome to watch them. But the thing I'm getting at is we want to watch and study people with credibility and actually know what they're talking about. So I'm going to pull a few books up right now. I have a pretty massive bookshelf right here. And that's because I love reading, and all of these people have taught me things that are unbelievably important and have helped me so much. So first book is Epictetus's Discourses. This is probably top 3, if not my favorite book of all time. And you need to study philosophy. You need to study history. You need to study how governments are formed. You study world wars. This might be some history, high school, childish thing that you're thinking. But in order to understand our future, we need to understand our past. And what mistakes have we made as humans in the past? And once you learn about these, let's say, tragedies or human behavior or human nature even, I want you to actually extend this to our future. Extrapolate the past into our future, because human evolution, like I said, has not changed a few thousand years. We are the same individuals, we have the same proclivities, we have the same tendencies, and you have to realize that our future usually just extends from the past. So when you reverse in history, this is why so many intellectuals are popular, like Jordan Peterson, Sam Harris, Douglas Murray, one of my favorite individuals online. All these people have studied for thousands of years human history, and they're truly one of the best in the world at these things. And they understand what happens when the world goes a certain way, and they understand human nature, and they can see these things coming. So from a business perspective, let's get off the history, but from a business perspective, you need to realize that you have to understand the past to understand the future. And when you understand the past and what has worked in human nature, even persuasion, like persuasion has not changed for thousands of years. Sure, there's more controlled studies on it, probably. There's more books written. If you haven't read Robert Cialdini's Persuasion, it's an amazing book. Persuasion, I believe it's called, in Influence, great books. Like, there's things like this that exist, but human nature hasn't changed. These people just didn't document it in a book, but we have a documented book, which is great. So if you understand how to influence the last 2,000 years, what influenced people, what mistakes did they make, all these things, then you can now extrapolate this into the future and then use this for yourself. So it's just another unbelievably important point, because you just need to learn from the past and recognize that we're the same creatures and we're going to make the same mistakes. And you can get rich by using the same tactics into the last 2,000 years. Sure, we didn't have internet, but sure, providing value is the same. Influence is the same. Public speaking is the same. Writing is very similar. So take note of these things and learn from the past, and then extend to the future, and you'll make a lot more money. There's a study that I want to bring to your attention that's unbelievably fascinating. It's called the Marshmallow Experiment. So I'm not sure if you have heard this before, but there's a study conducted, I think 1976, where 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, super young people, they just knew English, could speak it, and understand people, and they put them in a room and they said, you can have one marshmallow right now, or you can have like 5 if you wait. So you have one right now, instant gratification, you get your marshmallow, you're out of here, you're done. Or you can wait like an hour and you can get 5 marshmallows. And this is a classic example of instant gratification, right? If anybody has dieted before, you know how much you want to eat that cake. You know how much you want to eat the donuts, the junk food, all those things. But then you realize in the short term it's perfect, and then you realize in the long term you're achieving that body, and that body's not going to come if you're actually wasting your dopamine on these short-term things. So this study was a classic example of how rewarding and how unbelievably important it is to delay gratification. Because what they found is that the kids that were in the group one marshmallow right now, they had worse life success down the road. They scored less in university. They had worse jobs. They couldn't maintain their body weight. They're overweight, way less income. They did just overall way worse over a period of time. And this is just unbelievably important, because what this describes is the people that waited for the let's say five marshmallows. I don't know the exact number, but it's just more marshmallows, right? They had a higher likelihood to succeed. And this is just a prime example of delayed gratification, because it's the people that succeed wait longer over longer time horizons, right? Like a key word I hear so many millionaires and billionaires speak about is that we want to extend the time horizon. So I don't know if you've ever read Jeff Bezos' letters to shareholders, but it's an unbelievably great writing if you want to learn about business and key thinking that Jeff Bezos actually used. So all of these letters to shareholders, Jeff Bezos is obsessed with the customer, obviously, like unbelievably customer obsessed. But at the same time, he was expanding his time horizon across 20 years, 30 years. So in his first few shareholder letters, he was like future pacing 20, 30 years to make his decisions. And this is unbelievably important because Jeff Bezos is the prime example of waiting for a long period of time and making big risks to play off 20 years down the road now. And what you have to realize is that the people that can work for a longer period of times without that instant gratification now, without getting that instant marshmallow right now, and wait without seeing results in this moment, and don't get that dopamine hit, the instant gratification right now, they will succeed. And the people that can stay persistent without these little trickles of dopamine along the way, without these big rewards along the way as well, those are the ones that are going to succeed. And those are the ones who are actually going to become successful because they can keep working for years and years and years, maybe stay wealthy enough to get their food delivered and eat and stay healthy and go to the gym maybe, but they can work on their business for years without any proof that it's going to work. And a big thing Alex Hormozi always says is that 99% of people, when they see delaying gratification, working in years and end and all these things, will be right 99% of the time. But we're playing it with decades and not years. And this is actually the next point I want to get to. And we want to see things in decades, and we want to see things in years. Everything should be a move on the chessboard for our next 10 to 15 years. So if you are plotting to play the game of business for, let's say, 20 plus years, right? 20 plus years. You're here, let's say, you're zero, but the person that is looking all the way over here, you're planning your skills. You are developing leadership skills. You are reading the books that will be evergreen 20 years down the road, like Influence, etc. It's the people that are chasing the short-term gratification, like want to get to 10K a month, are building the skills to 10K a month, and they're comfortable. So they just stop. They just stop right here. The person has a longer time horizon, is building the skills that they need to get to and paying down, as Alex Hormozi says, their ignorance debt. They need to, the whole gap right here, everybody, is literally just what I call, this is all ignorance. It is all how much you know. This right here is just how much you know. That's the problem. So when people are in the game of entrepreneurship and they work for 6 months and they go, I'm done. Like, I quit. I'm going to go back to my job, or I'm going to just get an education. I'll go to a 9-to-5 job. They have to realize that they've been in 6 months of ignorant debt, and they probably made it right here. Like right there. They maybe like $500. But this is all ignorance. You need to get mentors to pay down your ignorance. You need to get books to pay down your ignorance. You do a lot of things to pay down your ignorance. So it is all down. It all comes down to ignorance debt with these things. It is only that getting you from here and here. And obviously, there's taking action with ignorance. Like, you learn more, you take the action, you get the feedback loop. But this is all things I've covered in the video so far. So I want you to realize we're playing 12 years down the road, and that's why we're going to succeed in 5 to 10, 12 years, right? Like, I did not make any money for the first year of entrepreneurship. None. Absolutely none. Right? It's just 1 month that I hit literally 20K a month. Just boom, first month. Like, not first, 1 month, I hit 20K a month. After 12 months of making no money, and that's just paying down ignorance. And then you find that it is on a graph that looks something like this. Don't mind my amazing art right here. And like, it's something like time over money, let's say. So it's something like this. It's just exponential. It literally just goes straight away up like this. So that's the way we should be looking at business and playing this on the long game, not in the first 3 years. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. I went way longer than I actually expected it to, but anyway, if you enjoyed this style of video versus the other ones that I usually post, just drop a comment. I went for a long time. I hope you got some value from this. I hope it didn't waste your time. And if you liked the video and you haven't already, subscribed and liked the channel. That would mean a lot to me. Thank you very much, and I'll see you later. Peace.